to talk about luxury cruising. From sweet so sweet to ships elite. Come explore the world in style with me on Luxury Cruising, the podcast.
All right, welcome back to Luxury Cruising. I'm really excited to talk to Sylvia today, and she is going to share with us her amazing experience on the MSC Yacht Club. Sylvia, before we get started, tell us who you are, any background information you want listeners to know about.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, so a little background on me. I am a former OBGYN who left clinical medicine and went to work in pharma. So that was career number 2. And then now I am a travel agent as well as I am a professor at a university, and I teach anatomy and physiology to nursing students and students that would like to go on to PT school, med school, dentistry, that type of thing. So it's a pleasure to be here.
Amazing. Well, we are excited to hear about your MSC Yacht Club experience. So tell us what made you decide on this ship, room, itinerary. What were you looking for?
So I'm an avid cruiser. I've cruised almost all of the lines: Disney, Norwegian, Royal Caribbean, Carnival, Virgin, Princess. And so I had heard about MSC. I had seen the ships in dock, but didn't really know that much about them. So I had started to hear about this yacht club thing. And so I did a little bit of research. I actually spoke to the business director that's for my region, and I was just intrigued. So there was an opportunity to get on the MSC Seashore, which is the ship that I sailed in Yacht Club, and I took it. And it was a fantastic experience.
And were you just looking to experience MSC and just happen to book have a good opportunity to get into the yacht club? Or were you specifically saying I need to try the yacht club?
I initially booked a regular room and then thought about it and said, I think if I'm going to try MSC, I'm going to try it Yacht Club. And so I upgraded.
Yeah, which I think is smart because MSC is one that here in the US and North America, it's really mixed. People have really mixed reviews. But if you really want an experience, I've heard nothing but good things about Yacht Club. And so if you want to try MSC, I really do think that Yacht Club is the way to go. So give us some details, start with the ship. What's the ship like? And especially because I feel like maybe I'm wrong, but MSC were the leaders in the ship within a ship concept.
They were. Yeah, the ship was beautiful. It is your typical ship that has that giant atrium that goes up several decks. It's so impressive. The artistry, the design. I felt like I was sailing in a museum. Every deck had such interesting artwork. And I'm not a big art buff. I'm not going to go hang out in a museum on a Saturday afternoon. But I found myself stopping, looking at the artwork on the walls, looking at the sculptures. It is a beautiful ship.
It is Italian based. So that's consistent. Yeah.
Gorgeous ship. And I would say of all of the ships I've ever sailed, and this was my 37th cruise, so I have done a lot of cruising. They have the largest pools on a ship, and it's just
nice.
They designed the ship. They basically have taken away the outdoor track, right? Where typically on a regular deck on another cruise line, you could walk around, deck 7, deck 8 on the outside. They've eliminated that, and that's given them additional space. And so they have larger pools. They have more pools. Usually it's the size of a stamp, and, people are shoulder to shoulder. So I was just very impressed with the layout of the ship, the design of the ship, the artistry of the ship. I had no complaints.
That's awesome. And that was a regular pool deck, not even the suite pool deck that had that big pool?
Yeah, they had a very large regular pool, which was called, I believe, a Long Island pool. And then they had an adult only pool, which was in the aft. It had an infinity style. So you're, looking at the back of the ship, you see the wake of the ship in the water. So that was gorgeous. It was adults only. and they did an excellent job of keeping the children out. I've been on Royal
Yeah.
where there are children running around the adult solarium and jumping in the
Mhm.
pool and screaming. They were very good about not allowing children in the adult only pool. And then, yeah, the MSC Yacht Club pool was, I would say, a typical size cruise ship pool. It was smaller, but that's because there are fewer folks sailing. On our ship, there were 246 individuals in Yacht Club, and I believe capacity is, in the 300s.
Yeah. And that's really important because I know like even some of the sort of, suite areas, ship within a ship areas, they may not even have a pool. It may just be a couple of hot tubs. So
They had a large enough pool and an enormous hot tub that I had to myself almost every day.
that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Cause yeah, like I love that if you're going to sail within a ship concept, you want to feel like there's enough room and that you do have that sort of, it's that sort of square footage to person ratio that creates that luxury, right? Like if you're in a standard room and not in a suite area, there are times that pool deck is just going to be crowded. Like you're just going to be shoulder to shoulder to people. And that really makes a difference when you're in a suite only area.
Yeah, there was more than enough pool chairs, loungers. The cabanas, I would say, would be my only complaint, I would say. They only have a few cabanas with shade, and there's so much room that they could definitely install additional. So if you wanted a shady spot, was a little harder to find, but there was more than enough deck space, pool loungers. You could sit by the hot tub, you could sit by the pool, you could sit in a corner by yourself, you could sit below. And then the other thing about the pools that I wanted to add was they have the general sailors, they have an indoor pool, which was a jungle theme. And so it was covered. So when it was raining, they kept it covered. But when it was sunny, they opened it up. So that was another option. There are usually not indoor pools on cruise ships. And that space was huge as well. And I didn't see people saving chairs or people fighting for chairs. There were pool lounges every time I walked through.
I love that. I love the retractable roof. There aren't many that have it. I mean, somewhere out there, I know that they exist. I love that you don't feel like if you're outside of your little ship within a ship, you're, kind of it's not a good experience, right? That like, oh no, I'm with the masses. It's actually really nice, whether or not you're in your suite deck or you're on the regular pool deck.
Yeah. So we had a rainy day and I went and hung out in the jungle pool and there were kids screaming, but even that pool was really enormous for a ship. So I was just really impressed with the options there.
Nice. I'm just gonna segue into a plug for a minute and just help people why it's really important to be careful and pick your travel agent if you are looking for a cruise. Like if you have your travel agent that you love, that you've used for, all of your trips, ground trip, land-based trips, that's great. But if you want to go on a cruise and you use your regular travel agent who isn't really a cruiser, they're not going to have this kind of knowledge base. So just a plug out there for any of the listeners who maybe have never cruised. They don't cruise very much. They may have their regular travel agent that they love, but if you really want to get all of these kinds of comparisons that Sylvia is talking about, make sure that travel agent that you use to decide on your luxury cruise actually has experienced various ships, has experienced various lines, really knows cruising, because that can really make or break your experience. So there's my little plug for, cruise experienced travel agents, and then we can get back to our regular programming.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that, there are so many nuances with all the cruise lines. No two cruise lines are exactly the same. So there are some where you have to book certain dining at 45 days and that opens up, it's not available, and then you have to wait until you're on board. So that's a Virgin versus, there's so many little nuances on MSC. There's so many categories. You can Fantastica, Bella, Aura. So in each one will give you a different level of quote unquote privilege or perks. And so your travel agent should really know that, and also where you're stopping. So I will always tell my clients, yes, you can absolutely book the excursion with the cruise, but here's some other options, that you can consider, I've been to this island, try this. Not everything is offered through the cruise line. I have 8 couples right now that are going to Bora Bora. I've been to Bora Bora twice. So I was like, well, let me tell you about this and that, and you can add on. So it is always very helpful to use a travel agent that is well traveled.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So is Yacht Club, I'm thinking of like on Celebrity, there's Concierge Club, which I don't think really makes that big of a difference because it's like basically the same balcony room. And you get a few more perks. Is that what Yacht Club is like, or is the room also different?
I would say the room didn't really stand out to me. It could have been a princess room. It could have been a royal room. The room wasn't anything spectacular or different. It's when you step outside that room and walk into the Topsail Lounge that you are impressed. So it's a private lounge area with a small buffet, not tongs. These are like finger foods. And they're every 4 hours they would change the menu. So every 4 hours it would be different foods, and it's little snacks and desserts and pastries, and you could find yourself consuming a couple thousand calories very easily.
Yeah.
And then there's a bar, and they really get to know you. So I'm not a big drinker, and so my drink of choice on that cruise was a ginger ale, cucumber, and lime. And they were like, they called it a Sylvia. And when I would walk in, they get to know you. And the bartenders and the waiters would be like, would you like a Sylvia? And I was like, yes, I'd like a Sylvia.
Oh, it does sound good. Like I'm going to have to remember that. Ginger ale, cucumber, and lime.
Yes. So very refreshing on a hot day. You know, it's not alcoholic. A couple times I got it diet with the diet ginger ale, but I like my sugar.
Yeah. And so so your room is in a separate area and then you walk out and then there's a separate lounge. Talk about that again.
Sure.
I think so I skipped over something.
Floor. So MSC on this ship was 16th floor. There is no 17 because Italians find that to be an unlucky number. So there was no deck 17, 18, 19, and 20. So that is Yacht Club. You need to scan in with your wristband to have access to it. It's locked. So there were a couple individuals who tried to get in and they can't. And so the cabins are on 16, 18, 19. And then the pool deck is on 20. And so that area is exclusive to you. The topsail is on 16. And then the dining room is on 17. And so my room was 16002. And I chose that one because it is right next to topsail. And there's actually a secret door that most people don't know. So it was the last room. It was the most forward room. And people were like, why would you pick that room? Because I would walk out of my room and make a quick right, and I was in topsail. And I don't like walking down those claustrophobic hallways.
Yeah.
So for me, it was great. And people are like, well, don't people have to walk past your room to get to the topsail? Most people don't know there's a tiny little door that it was like a hidden door. So most people are not using that hallway. They're using the main hallway to access the topsail. So there wasn't a lot of traffic outside my room. So I highly recommend starboard forward rooms will give you access to the topsail without having to go around.
And is Topsail the name of that little lounge?
Yes, it's called the Topsail Lounge, and then the restaurant's called Topsail Restaurant. Yep.
Nice. So it wasn't just you had this little lounge that had these sort of snacks and drinks all day long, but then you also had your own restaurant.
We had our own restaurant. You could have breakfast, lunch, and dinner there. They had set hours. And then we also have a buffet by the pool. So you don't actually have to walk down to the main buffet on this cruise ship. It would have been on deck 16. So by the pool, you get hungry, you walk over, and again, snacks, sandwiches, pizzas, and it's all food that is made for us by the Yacht Club chef. So it's not coming from the main kitchen.
Fabulous.
So the menu is different. So the dinner menu in Yacht Club is different than the menu that's happening in the main dining room. But if there is something you are interested in that is on the main dining room, they'll go get it for you.
Nice. That's really nice. What are the other service? Because for me, luxury is so much about service. So what were the other sort of over the top or really special aspects of the service in the Yacht Club?
It started when we pulled up to the terminal. So the Yacht Club had its own little, shaded tent where you checked in. And we were from the Uber to getting on the ship. It was about 15 minutes. They checked us in.
Oh, awesome.
They walked us through the so a butler comes and greets you and walks you through the terminal. They take you to this separate area where they check your documents and check your passport. They hand you a glass of champagne. There are snacks and cookies. And then they will walk you onto the ship with your butler. And it was just, I saw people standing in line and they were hot and they were outside. And, you know, I asked one of the ladies and she said, oh, it's a 2-hour queue. And within 15 minutes, within 15 minutes, we were on the ship in the topsail lounge. Our room was ready. So we didn't have to, you know, be walking around with our luggage.
Yeah.
We met our butler right away. We were able to have snacks in the topsail lounge. The lady that runs the concierge, her name was Denise. She was wonderful. She came over, introduced herself, told us all about the yacht club. So it was just amazing.
That sounds amazing.
Amazing embarkation. You can have the butler unpack for you. I personally didn't take that option. I don't want someone unpacking my stuff. And they can also pack for you on the last night.
That's hard no for me.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want you touching my clean clothes, nevertheless.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. But it's a great service. Love it. But like packing up my dirty laundry, like, no. Yeah. No, thank you.
The butler will stock your refrigerator with whatever it is that your beverage of choice. I'm not a big drinker. So for me, it was ginger ales and Dr. Peppers. But you could have anything you want. Champagne, wine. I heard a lot of folks, you know, ordering certain drinks. And so you will always be hydrated.
Absolutely. And is that the refrigerator? Like, is is there like a drink package, or it's like is it kind of like they stock it, but it's a per use charge? How does it work in terms of, the refrigerator, the drink refrigerator?
Yeah. So it's looks like a little mini bar. And so when you are Yacht Club, you have a premium drink package which actually no one else on the ship can access unless you're in Yacht Club. And so all of your drinks up to $16 are included. So unless you're getting some premium top shelf, you would not be really paying for additional on top of that. Most drinks are $16 or below. So your drinks are included and anything that's in the mini bar is included. There were, you know, nuts and crackers and M&Ms and Toblerones and things like that. The first set is free. And then if you continue to eat from the mini bar, then they would charge you. But there is so much free food on the ship that's you don't need that pack of Pringles.
I really don't need it back. I really don't. I can leave my room. I don't have to eat the M&Ms that are in my room. I'd rather go to and find whatever fun little like finger food is in the topsail lounge.
Yep. There were these delicious cucumber sandwiches. And when I got home, I was just craving them. I was like, I want a cucumber sandwich.
Yeah. With maybe some cream cheese and chives. Like, yes.
So
yes, please.
Yeah.
Wow. That sounds amazing. What else would the butler do for you?
So when you go to their private island, so they have a private island called Ocean Cay or Ocean Cay, which I loved. It's very natural. So
I have heard that the Ocean Cay Marina. Is that what they call it?
Marine Reserve, which I think is the only private island that has that distinction.
Yeah. I've heard that it's like one of the best, especially for people. It's like the opposite of Coco Cay. For people who don't know, like Coco Cay is Royal Caribbean's private island. And it's like totally built up with like, you know, a water park and different water parks and a big pool and whatever. And this is what Coco Cay used to be, where it was basically just a beach.
Yes, it's basically just a beach. There's like you said, Royal Caribbean Coco Cay has water parks and cabanas and private pools and, you know, adult pools and kids sections and just absolute fun and chaos. But that's not what this vacation was for me. This was a relaxing vacation. The island is so natural. They've spent millions and millions and millions and hundreds of millions of dollars, and they're still expanding the island. So we were watching them dredge up sand and actually creating part of an island that doesn't exist, which I found fascinating.
Wow. Yeah.
But it is beautiful. And the nice thing is that we stayed overnight. So you got 2 days at their island, which you don't do in cruising. You dock in the morning and you leave in the afternoon, and you don't get that overnight experience typically.
Yeah.
So this was nice. And then at night they do a lighthouse. They have this beautiful lighthouse and they do this lighthouse show. So there's a beach party. You can go to the beach party, or you can stay on deck on the ship, and from your deck you can actually watch this lighthouse show. So it was just really relaxing. My only criticism of the Ocean Cay is the yacht club has a private area, but the beach is really rocky, like small little pebbles and rocks. So you definitely do need water shoes if you're going to be in the yacht club. It's funny because I think they gave the worst part of the island, the most rocky beach, to the yacht club, because everyone else's beach was beautiful. So so a little distinction there. But what else does your butler do? So your butler gets you to disembark outside the chaos. So they have these keys, and they kind of key the elevator, and then the elevator comes automatically, which the elevator of a pet peeve of mine. They're smart elevators that I don't think are very smart, but they can basically fast track you off of the ship. So we had a really early tour that was not associated with the cruise, and I let the butler know, and he escorted us off the boat, off the ship, to make sure that we got to our excursion on time. So you have this priority disembarkation and embarkation, which is really lovely. The yacht club tent is waiting for you when you're coming back from your excursion, with cold towels and drinks and a couch.
Yeah, and if you're in the Caribbean in the summer, like, you definitely need that.
Yeah. And in Ocean Cay, the yacht club folks have a little golf cart that takes you to the private area. The private area is probably the farthest away from the ship. It's a really, really long walk, and in the heat, I would not recommend walking it. So definitely let your butler take you in the golf cart.
Yeah. Wow. That sounds amazing. Amazing. And what about the Top Sail restaurant? How was that? How was that experience?
I would say, of the hundreds of things I ate that week, there were probably less than 5 that I did not like. It was delicious, and the portions were normal human sizes, and which was nice because then you could sample a lot of things. Just very, very delicious. And they would cater to you if you have any sort of food allergies. I mean, we didn't, but I heard them, taking orders from other people and making sure they could make the substitutions and make sure they were paying attention to allergies. So they're very sensitive to that. So that, if you're traveling with someone who's got a food allergy, and my son has one, you would feel very safe.
That's awesome. How about just in general around the ship, like entertainment activities?
So really, I stayed in the yacht club area for the majority of the time, unless we were off the ship for an excursion. The only time I came out was in the evenings for the entertainment, and I would give MSC an A+ on entertainment. The amount of entertainment that they had going on surpasses any other ship that I've ever been on. They had people in the cabaret lounge singing. They had variety shows. They had magicians. They had comedians. Every night there was Broadway type quality show going on. And so I was very, very impressed with the level of entertainment and the quantity of it. You could leave one, go to another, there was no, you could not be bored in the evening. You could just, I don't know how you could. So many different bands. It was just really, really phenomenal. And another perk of Yacht Club is that the butler walks you to the main show, usually in the theater. And there's a separate section for us for our seating. So you don't have to get to the theater 15, 20, 30 minutes early to save seats, because the Yacht Club has a section. And it's not obnoxious. I know in Princess, usually it's like towards the front. We were closer to the back, which was fine. We still could see. But at least it's not in your face like, oh, we are Yacht Club, we're sitting in the front.
Yeah, those first 3 rows with, the reserve sign or something. Yeah.
We were in the back, but I didn't have to worry about getting there early. If the show was 8:30, I was walking at 8:27 and there were seats. So that was another perk that was nice.
Yeah, I love that. And then you don't have to be like walking around doing this through the aisles, where you're at people who are just listening. Like, I'm like looking around trying to find like a seat for enough people, like we're enough seats together, and having to like crawl over because somewhere in the middle, there's, a group of seats. So that's really, really nice. That sounds so amazing. So just summarize for us, like if you had to like sum up your experience in the Yacht Club, what would it be?
The only other thing that is of importance, I think, that we haven't covered is the spa. So if you're yacht club, you have access to
Yes.
the thermal spa. And this spa was very interesting. I mean, the hot tub was relatively small, and I don't like human soup, so I didn't go in the small hot tub because the yacht club hot tub was so much bigger and no one was in it.
Yeah.
So it was a little crowded, it was a little small. But what was really interesting was that they had these like a room that it was snowing, and I don't like snow, but I stuck my head in there and it was snowing. So it was this cold room. And then I had this hot room and this steam room and a salt room. They had all these different rooms that you could hop around to. So we had a rainy day and we spent that part of the day in the spa. And we also, the last day, got massages. And so that was really wonderful. And when you're yacht club, you get a discount on the massages. So, who doesn't want to save some money?
So there was a separate little jacuzzi inside the spa area?
There was a hot tub in the spa area, yeah.
Oh, very nice. Very, very nice. Yeah, I love those rooms. Like, it's like going to like a, Korean spa where you've got, like the super hot room, and then you've got the like this kind of crystal room and the lavender room and, the lava room. Yeah. Was there a hot tub at the snowing room just by chance?
Not in the snowing room. I didn't spend too much time in the snowing room. The person I traveled with, he was a fan of the snowing room. I was not.
Yeah. I would love because that to me is the best. Like, you're in the hot tub and it's cold outside and it's snowing. I'm like, I always love that. So awesome. Well, you also, now for anybody, Sylvia's going to tell us how to follow her, but I got to tell you, like, her pictures and her videos, I was following her on this trip, and I mean, they were amazing. And I know from following you that you made a special purchase on this trip. For people who are not watching, you're going to have to go to YouTube to see what the purchase is. Show us, Sylvia.
I purchased a blue diamond.
Woohoo!
And I saw this thing in the window on the first day, and I basically was like, "You are coming home with me."
What is a gorgeous, gorgeous ring? Just to describe it for people on the podcast, it's like this very pale blue, like oval diamond surrounded by smaller diamonds. And then there's like diamonds on the, what is it, like the ring part?
Yeah,
it's
the setting.
Gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous.
And I am a bargain hunter. So I am all about champagne for the price of beer. So I did not pay the price that they wanted me to pay. So of course there was a bigger number, and they said, "Oh, well, it's half off." And I said, "I'm not paying that." And so the best part was that I got to negotiate it down considerable. And then when I went online to see something similar, I undercut that significantly. And there's no taxes, duty free. And it's it's my favorite thing.
That's amazing. I love it.
It's a great souvenir.
Well, yeah, a great souvenir. Well, congrats on that. So tell me, just stepping away from the cruise right now, how do you define luxury?
I work really, really hard. So I'm a single mom of 2 kids. I have a business I run. I teach about 100 students every semester at the college level. So luxury to me is where I can go and not think about anything. And that's exactly what I had for a week. I didn't have to think about everything. Everything was taken care of for me, where I'm eating, what I'm eating. It was just fabulous. And every morning the butler was like, "What time would you like me to bring you your coffee?" And they brought me my newspaper. And it's just, I didn't have to do anything or think about anything, which was really fabulous. So to me, that's luxury, where I'm completely detached from my regular life.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I love that. So do you have any other luxurious travel planned, cruised or otherwise?
I'm actually going to Canyon Ranch, which, if you know, like of a Miraval, it's similar to Miraval. So the first about 3 days in September, I will be there. They're hosting some travel agents, so I will get to experience that. So that's a bit luxurious.
Totally.
I'm taking my kids on a Royal Caribbean cruise, and I'm a little nervous because now, having experienced Yacht Club, I'm not sure how that's gonna go. And then I'm doing a Virgin cruise in January. So, and then I'm doing a luxury safari in March. So,
oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah. So I did Botswana in May, and now I'm gonna do Kenya in March.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, I can't wait to see the pictures and, travel vicariously through you. Um, do you, with all of these amazing trips planned, do you have a dream cruise?
I want to be one of these people that, I know some people find this not appealing, but I would think I want to be one of these people that lives on a cruise ship for like 3 to 6 months. I
Me too.
enjoy cruising. Again, it's detached from reality.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I have a location that I'm going to be doing Panama in 2026. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
And I want to do Alaska. So there's so much on the bucket list. And every time I scratch one off, I just add 3 more. So it's really hard.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many. But I'm with you. Like, I'm carefully watching some of these, like, life on a cruise ship, living on a cruise ship for, 3+ years. I'm like, I don't know that I would want to live full time, like be one of these people who, spends basically just moves completely. But I could see a couple of years doing these like 3.5 years where you slowly circumnavigate the globe. Like, yeah, I could see that. I could really see that. So yeah.
When my kids
Well,
are older and they don't need me.
yeah, exactly. Right. Where it'll be okay if I'm gone for, if I can. And what I've noticed too, if anybody's been following the world cruise, is like they get off. Like they get off and then they come back on. It's not like a lot of people have like gone off and done like something for a couple days or a week and then they just meet up back up with the ship. So that's been, that has definitely continued to spark my imagination about.
And as I cruise more often, there are just locations where I'm just not going to get off here. I've been here a couple times. I'm going to enjoy the ship. And so I have kind of transitioned from being the person who books a cruise based on its itinerary. Now I'm looking at the ship more and what can I do on the ship when everybody else gets off and I have the ship to myself?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Well, I was, MSC was just not at all. It was definitely on my list of, lines that I was like, no, I'm like, no, MSC is a no. But I've definitely piqued my interest with Yacht Club. So, I may just have to do an MSC Yacht Club.
If you're like me and champagne for the price of beer. So, everyone says NCL Haven, I haven't done it, is fabulous. And I'm sure it is, but I can't justify for myself that price tag. And so if you are considering an NCL Haven, consider the MSC Yacht Club because there is a significant savings. And from what I've heard other people say, I can't compare it for myself. They're very similar. And some people have even said the MSC Yacht Club is better. So I love it. And I'm definitely now going to be very loyal to MSC Yacht Club. I had a fabulous experience and I can't wait to do it again. The MSC World America will be launching in April. And I spoke to the captain. The captain on the Seashore is going to be the captain who will be the captain on World America. And I cannot wait to get on that one. So definitely consider an MSC Yacht Club. The ships are fabulous, but do it on a newer ship. From what I've heard, the older ships maybe not as fabulous. So,
whenever they retrofit something like that, it's usually not. It doesn't really, because the older ones, I've heard that too. Like the Yacht Club is actually retrofitted, so it's not quite like as ship within a ship as some of the newer builds.
Exactly, and it's just more budget friendly. And I love budget friendly because I would rather go on 6 trips than have 1 or 2 big ones. So. For budget-friendly luxury, I would look at MSC Yacht Club.
Yeah, amazing. And I love that because too, this is a luxury cruising podcast, but not all of us can spend $200,000 to go to a suite with our family for a week, but we still want to enjoy luxury. And so, and that's why this podcast is, that's why I started this podcast, because not only do I love hearing about luxury, but and not only do I love experiencing luxury, but I also want to hear about how, it's attainable without, like you said, this champagne price tag.
Yeah. Champagne for the price of beer. My slogan for my company, Lux for Less, is actually travel should not break the bank. So we're not trying to be poor. We just want to experience wonderful things at affordable prices.
Yeah, Absolutely. Absolutely. So how can people find you and your travel agency if they want to book the yacht club or any other cruise or maybe even, a luxury safari?
Yeah, so my company's name is Lux for Less. So Lux, Luxe, for the word FOR, less. So my email address is luxforless, LuxeForLess, travel@yahoo.com. You can follow me on Facebook. It's Lux for Less Travel Deals. And I'm sure you'll be posting a link. So feel free to reach out and get a quote. It may fit your budget. It may not. You never know.
You never know.
Never know. There are amazing promotions that drop that make luxury more affordable for folks that's more attainable, where they thought, oh, I could never do that. And I love to try to stack promotions for my clients. If possible, I do price adjustments. MSC is wonderful in that it does a 10% healthcare discount. So if you're in the healthcare field, you get a 10% discount. You need your ID badge as well as some sort of proof of licensure.
Yeah.
NCL, for example, is wonderful with military discounts. So we can always find you something that works in your budget.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to work with folks.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, fantastic. And I will say again, even if you're not thinking of booking something, follow Sylvia just to see the pictures of her travels. Fantastic.
And I'm not even a very good photographer. So on my last safari, my friends are taking fabulous pictures. I'm sitting right next to them. We're taking the same photo and theirs is so much better than mine.
Well, I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And hopefully we'll have you back again soon to hear about your next luxury cruise.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Take care. Bye. Thank you for joining me on today's episode of Luxury Cruising. If you have a luxury cruising experience you'd like to share, please email me at luxurycruisingpodcast@gmail.com. That's luxurycruisingpodcast, all one word, @gmail.com.